What's up, guys? Hope all's well today. Uh, we're on the balcony of Broadmoor, 1002. So, anyway, welcome to the show today. This is Ask Ricky Live. I'm Ricky Caruth, your host. We're going to bring on a new agent today. His name's Jonathan Teem. He's with Exit Realty in Gulf Shores. This guy's been crushing it down here as a new agent. And so we're real excited to have him on. So as you guys can see, we got the background of one of my listings that I'm closing on tomorrow, Broadmoor 1002. So I thought it'd be cool to have that in the background today for the show. Kind of looks like we're just chilling on the balcony. So anyways, for those of you guys that aren't watching this live, you're watching a replay on YouTube or listening to the podcast or on Facebook, and you want to join the Facebook group and watch this show live every single week, you can do that at the Facebook group below, facebook.com/groups/Diamond Agents. Again, that's Facebook.com/groups/Diamond Agents. You guys can catch the show live each week there. I normally do this every Thursday around 4 p.m. Central. But I am a full-time real estate agent, so if I run into some kind of conflict of schedule, then I'll reschedule with you. But it's been 4 o'clock every Thursday for about a month or so now. So anyway, that's been going pretty good. A few other things, I guess. Nothing really new. If you guys, this is a live Q&A for agents all around the world. So if you guys want to call in, the number is right here at the bottom of the screen, 251-752-1138. Let me make sure we're actually live. That'd be nice. You can also comment any questions that you might have for me or Jonathan, or comment your phone number and I'll call you into the show. Let's see. Let me see it on your phone. Turn your volume down whenever you do it. I want to call in. The number is... Why is it black right there? I can't see any comments, guys. Let me pull it up on my computer here. I don't know why this is technical difficulty here. Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. Well, here we go. All right. All right, we got Jamie with us, Neil, Chip. How you guys doing? Let me get back to the show. I'll just have to check back in on my computer because my phone is not showing me comments for some reason. It's always something, that's for sure. Anyway, like I said, I got Jonathan Teem with me. He's a local agent in my market down here in the Gulf Shores, Orange Beach area. We're right there on the Florida-Alabama line. Jonathan's a longtime friend of mine. We went to high school together. He's a couple years older. But, we came up about the same time, saw a lot of the same stuff. Jonathan went into the service. I went to college, of course, flunked out and got my real estate license and all that stuff. But anyway, Jonathan got in real estate about 6 months ago. He's been talking about getting into real estate for a long time. And never really took the plunge because he had such a good paying job on an oil rig, making a couple $100,000 a year. And, when you're making a couple $100,000 a year, doing something every other month, it's kind of hard to get motivated to, change careers. So eventually with the prices in oil dropping, he eventually got laid off and was kind of somewhat forced into real estate, which is really where he wanted to be anyway. He just didn't have a reason to jump in until he got laid off from the oil rig. So anyways, We're just glad to have him here today. And, I want to start out by asking Jonathan to maybe tell us a little bit about himself and kind of what has his journey been, getting into real estate and like what has gotten him where he is, because he's only 6 months in, guys, and he's closed about $2 million worth of property so far, which is pretty amazing for a new agent. And he's on track to do over $100,000 in his first year. So it's pretty amazing stuff. So I wanted to bring him on and see if he could share some insight with you guys about how he's accomplished this feat of actually breaking into the market with all the other agents out there and being able to establish a foothold and make some transactions happen. So good to have you, John. And just maybe tell us a little bit about your, getting into real estate and kind of your thoughts on, what has got you to this point.
Well, like Ricky said before, it's something that I've always wanted to do. So I followed the market pretty close, even before I ever had a real estate license. And once I lost my job, then I was forced into the business, or I got to finally get into the business, and I had a reason to do it full time. And since then, basically I came into this business with the idea that it was going to take me 18 to 24 months until I'd really have a grasp and really start producing. But I knew that I had to do everything possible to make a living until that. So at this point in time in my career, I do chase every lead I get, regardless of the price. $100,000 deal, $1 million deal, it doesn't matter. And the one thing that I have probably done is I kind of see myself in the beginning not staying on track, not really focused on doing the same things over and over and over again, kind of jumping around. But I have realized that the making contacts, phone calls, sending out emails, flyers, anything I can do, to me it's a simple numbers game. The harder you work, the more results you get. I've used resources, RedX, Mojo, different any lead services I can get my hands on, and made as many phone calls as possible. Those phone calls have generated new listings, sales. Also, too, the one thing that's I didn't want to get away from is my sphere of influence. The people that I know directly, those people, my very first sales, of course, came from someone I knew. I continue to have sales from people inside that sphere of influence, people that I know, relatives, friends of relatives, those people, people that I know that are property owners that in the local area. And from there, on top of working those, I try to make 50 phone calls a day. Sometimes I get busy doing other things, showing property. I do work with a lot of buyers now, being new in the business. My goal is to be a listing agent, of course. And basically I've taken the plans that Ricky does. I make as many phone calls as I can, get as many email addresses as I can, and I put those people into a database and send out a weekly email and just briefly a weekly update of what the market is and let them know that I can help them in any way possible. And in that 6-month period, making cold calls, currently I have 2 condos, both listed in buildings where all properties are selling $350,000 or more. I have another couple properties that are going to be coming on the market soon, and just continue to work. Don't stop there. When you get one listing, don't stop there. Keep going, making as many contacts as possible.
Yeah. So I think the biggest problem too with new agents and stuff is they'll get a couple deals going, or maybe they'll get a couple closings or have a couple pendings or get one or 2 listings or something, and then they just start putting all their time into those couple things, and they quit focusing on what actually got them that business.
For sure. There's actually a month time period. I called Ricky, told him I was super upset. I didn't know what to do. I had $1.5 million worth of property under contract that fell apart. So that's another $1.5 million that I thought, was money in the bank that didn't happen. But it's what I did is I committed a bunch of time and energy to these deals that didn't work out. And in that time that they were under contract, when I really had no control over the situation, I lost precious time whenever I could have been gaining more contacts and getting more listings and working more angles.
Right. Well, look, guys, here's the thing. Feel free to call me right now if you want to ask me or John any kind of question you want to ask, or you can comment your phone number or comment a question if you have some kind of question. But here we have a guy that just got into real estate, and he basically, he's not trying to do anything fancy. He's just contacted his sphere of influence, people he knew, and really just let them know he's in real estate. Got a couple little deals there. And then, but the real kicker for John, and what's going to make him so big later as he continues to progress, is that he's not just stopping at a sphere of influence. A lot of agents, they just kind of do their sphere, and they just kind of they don't really venture out of that because they have a comfort level that they don't want to break out of that comfort zone. They don't want to deal with people they don't know. If you can sell property of people that you don't know, then you can sell anybody. Okay, so like part of being huge in this business is being able to sell strangers and being able to be likable and make friends with strangers enough for them to consider you their agent when they decide it's time to buy or sell something. And John has understood this. Like I said, guys, call in or message your phone number if you want to ask a question. Real early in John's career, like 6 months ago, that's about the same time that my book came out, Zero to Diamond. I actually wrote that book. It took me like a year, really, because I never wrote a book before. So I was kind of off and on, and I'd write it and I'd throw it away and rewrite it and stuff like that. And but by the time John got in the business, it was actually published, and he read that book, and that was one of the first things he did when he got his license. So I wanted to ask him when he's on the show today, like, what in Zero to Diamond and the philosophies therein, like, really helped you, or did it help you, stuff like that.
Well, the thing that I like so much about Ricky's book is it's all simple. It's easy to follow. It's not like he didn't recreate the wheel. He basically gave us ideas. He told us what to do. It's real simple things. If you follow it and you outwork the guy next to you, you're going to come out on top. I mean, there's a bunch of agents in our market down here, and the thing is if you're working harder than the guy in the next office, and it doesn't matter what office you're in, the name recognition, anything like that. If you are working hard, you are going to get results. I mean, and the biggest thing with that too is the consistency of it. You can't call a building one time. You can't send one postcard. It has to be a continuous process, and it's horrible thinking that you may have to do the same thing over and over again for 6 months before you even start to get people who are receptive to you. But it's the phone scripts that he covers in the books. He uses like I said, real simple terminology, and basically lets you know that if you get after it, you can do it. I mean, I'm an old rig worker, and in the 6 month time frame, like you said, I've done okay. I've done a little bit better than I expected in this time frame, and things just keep getting better. I keep getting new leads, new contacts every day. And we're really looking forward to what. And the other thing is, too, this is the first time I've ever had a job that I truly loved. I enjoy getting up. I get excited about work every day. And our market is super exciting with all the turnover in condos. And the biggest thing to me is in the book, if 10 different people call 10 different owners, they're all going to be receptive to those 10 different realtors in different ways. So don't be intimidated by the fact that a building or a neighborhood or whatever is being worked so hard by other people. You're a fresh face. The reason why somebody might not be selling is because they don't like any of the realtors they've been dealing with. They don't like the postcards they've been getting. They don't like the phone calls. So don't be intimidated, and definitely don't back away for the fact that you think something's being worked too hard.
Yeah, yeah. No, you said a couple things there. I mean, one is about outworking the guy next to you. Like there's so many realtors out there. It's like Mark Cuban says, you got to work 24 hours like somebody else is out there working just as hard to try to take it all away from you. That's kind of what I live by. Like I get up in the morning and I'm at it all day long till I go to sleep. When I go to sleep, it's like I'm out because I've worked so hard and I'm ready. I'm ready to take that little nap. But John has a real similar background to me. He did a lot of hard labor work on an oil rig, and I started out in life as a roofer. Everybody knows that. So like we both come from hardworking backgrounds, okay? And then when we morphed into being a real estate agent, it's like we still had that work ethic inside us of working on an oil rig, which I also did, or roofing houses. And I really think that you guys need to think about that for a second. What's your background? What did you do? What have you been doing all your life? That instilled a strong work ethic in you. Where does your work ethic stand in the whole scheme of the world? Because there's people that work really, really hard, harder than you can ever imagine, hard labor. And I mean, there's people that work harder than people on an oil rig and a roof. Okay, but I would say working on a roof or oil rig is much higher average work ethic than your average person. And so when we carry that work ethic over into real estate, that is one huge reason that we are where we are right now. John is going to be I knew John was going to be successful because of his background, and John has the right mindset. Like number one, he listens. A lot of agents, most people in general, they don't listen. They already think they know everything, so they don't listen to anybody else and try to learn anything, right? I think one of the number one characteristics of a really super successful real estate agent is the ability to spot another successful real estate agent and ask that real estate agent questions. It's like me right now. I'm doing these live shows. I'm selling 100 properties a year, and I'm an open book. I'm sitting here. I can't wait for one of you guys to call in or email me or something of that nature so that I can share whatever question you have, so I can share some knowledge with you about how to get past it and go to the next level. And that's how John is. John calls me, asks questions. I've been coaching him from day one. He follows all of my philosophies and his mindset. He understands that business is unlimited. There's no scarcity of business. You can work 24 hours a day, for the rest of your life, and never even scratch the surface of the amount of business that's out there.
Yeah, the one thing that sticks with my mind particularly is I would always tell Ricky that I didn't want to leave my job because I felt like there was more security getting a paycheck every month than there was chasing a real estate deal. And then he broke something down to me after I got laid off. He said, look, you got laid off, you don't have a job anymore, but there is a closing every single day on this island. There is always something that sells. So if you outwork the guy next to you, then that closing could be yours, So there's deals out there. You just have to go get them. And if you put in the work, then the consistency is going to be there. I'm also very grateful for the office that I work in, that I have brokers and a team there that are very, very patient with new agents and take us by the hand. And they have told us, having Ricky on my side is a big thing, but having someone directly in your office that I've never worked in another office, so I don't know how it is. But I know in my office particularly, my brokers are very, very hands-on, and I don't feel intimidated to ask them a question. And if you do, I think you might be in the wrong place. That's my thought anyway.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, I actually started my real estate career at the same company as John is at right now, Exit Realty in Gulf Shores. Tom and Tony Stanton and all those guys over there, awesome people. They really will stick their neck out for you and help you get started. They're really good company to to really take you to the next level. Awesome people, know their whole family. So, but what John was saying, I want to kind of reiterate this fact about consistent closings, because some people are scared to get in real estate. I know a lot of people who come to me and they want to get in real estate, but they have this job where they make $500 to $1,000 a week every week, 40 hours a week, and they're scared to leave that. It's security, and that's true. I mean, it's coming every single week. But if you really look at real estate, if you look at the ups and downs of real estate and the crashes and recessions and even depressions, you'll find that there was a closing that happened every single day. Every single day there was a closing. Down here in 2007 was our worst year on the beach. And we had about 500 sales a year at the peak on the beach. And in 2007 we had about 150. That was our worst year. Kind of went down to 150 and then started climbing back up. Now we're way over 500. But the point is our worst year, there was still 150 sales that year. So here's the point I want to bring across to you. When the market crashes, the properties are still sitting there. All right, they're not like disappearing, and property isn't going away. Okay, what's going to carry you through a crash are the relationships that you build between now and whenever the market crashes, which it'll crash. Maybe it takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Some point we're going to have a recession or depression, and the market is going to change. So another really good characteristic of a high producing agent is having the ability to recognize when a market is shifting, okay, and adjust your business to that shift. It's kind of like every year the market shifts through the summer and the fall and the spring. The market's changing. Well, you're not going to do the same activities all throughout the whole year. You're just not. You're going to do more prospecting at different times of year. You're going to do more showing, certain times of year. So it's the same thing when the market crashes. When the market crashes, you're going to do completely different things. There's 3 different kinds of clients whenever a market crashes. There's the client that has to sell because they need to, because they're desperate. They're in trouble, okay, because the market crashed. There's the need to sell. There's the want to buy client because everything's so cheap, okay, and then there's the hold on. I'm just going to hold on and ride this out client. So when the market crashes, all you have to do, you can even be a brand new agent when the market crashes. Half the agents are going to leave the business. You're going to be sitting there. It's going to be like taking candy from a baby. If you make the phone calls and say, hey, who are you? Are you a sell now, a buy now, or hold now kind of guy? I want to help you do whatever you're wanting to do. But if you already have relationships in place between now and then, you have all these relationships built, you can call those people when the market crashes and some. When the market rebounds, you're going to have so much more market share you can't believe. So it's always about pressing forward and not worrying about the market and what's going to happen, and knowing that closings are the most consistent thing in the universe, just about, and all that good stuff. I wanted to also run some statistics past you guys. Let me see if I get any questions or anything real quick. You guys feel free to ask questions. That's what we're here for. I'm here for you. If there's anything that I can answer for you, and I would love to have somebody call in or me call them into the show. But I wanted to share some statistics from you that I learned the other day from NAR, National Association of Realtors. Did I tell you about this?
No.
There's right now, currently in the country, there's 2.2 million real estate agents in the country right now, licensed real estate agents. That number blew me away because I was thinking there was like 1.5 million or 1.6 million or something like that. Well, the thing is 2 years ago there was 1.6 million. 1/3 from 2 years ago to now. It's grown from 1.6 million to 2.2 million. Okay, 1/3, just about 1/3 of the agents that are currently listed or currently licensed have 2 years experience or less. So about a third of the real estate agents across the country are basically brand new. Okay, this is an amazing statistic to me. On average, these agents, the average agent in the country right now sells 12 units per year. That's 1 unit per month. That's an amazing figure to me. The average income is $42,000 a year, or 1.8 million in sales. But what's really scary is this: at 24% make under $10,000 a year, and another 24% make over $100,000 a year. Okay, and then there's the 52% of all in the middle. So really, you got about 75% of agents who make under $100,000 a year, 25% who make under $10,000 a year. Okay, and you got 25% who make over $100,000 a year. The average age of realtors is 53. Did you think that?
No, I thought it'd be a little bit younger.
I thought it would be way younger. So anyway, I thought that was very interesting, and it feels like to me that over the past 2 years, people just see the market really doing really awesome and people making a lot of money, and so everybody's jumping in. So it's going to be real interesting to see how this goes over the next 3, 4, 5 years, because the statistics also say 80% of agents don't make it in real estate. So I'm wondering if the 80% of the people who just got in the past 2 years, if they're going to be out of the business in the next 2 years. So it's going to be real interesting to watch that and see how that plays out. I am going to give away a free book today. So somebody watching is going to get a free book. So comment below if you're watching, so I can have you as maybe somebody to pick for that. And you'll also get a free month membership. First month free is ZeroToDiamond.com, where you get all my phone scripts, private videos about how I do my weekly report, how I built my business, how to use the phone scripts, all kinds of good stuff. So all that stuff's exciting. You got anything else right this second?
Well, I was just going to add that one of the big things that Ricky taught me are in the beginning, all I was talking about was numbers. I want to do this. My goal is I want to do 1 transaction per month. I want to sell $2.5 million my first year. That was my goal. I want, $2.5 million sold my first year, and this and that. And he said, well, it's great to have goals, but what are you going to do to accomplish those goals? So it's great to set goals and say you want to sell 10 million or do 2 or 3 transactions per month or this, that, but without really putting a pen to paper and saying what you're going to do to accomplish that and following through with it. So he says, well, how are you going to sell $2.5 million worth of property? What are you going to do to get there? And then we broke down the numbers. If you make 100 phone calls a day, and you get 3 email addresses per day, 5 days a week, that's 15. That's almost 800 email addresses per year, 2 years, 1,600 people that own property that are going to buy, sell, do something eventually. Those are people that you now have contacts with, that you've developed a relationship with, and move forward from there. That was one of the biggest things that sticks in my head now. Like, I know that without any goal that I set, I'm not going to be able to accomplish the goal unless there's a plan of action. So I think establishing a plan of action and sticking to it, treating this like a real job, getting up and going to the office and doing exactly what you say you're going to do, which has probably been a downfall to myself. I have, because even though that he's told me and I see what works, I still want to try to jump around and do this and that, because it's hard to be consistent with something for that long without waiting on results. So I think I see it happen to myself, other people, but the biggest thing is if you come up with a plan of action and you follow it, stick with it, and it will pay off. I gave him an idea the other day about I was going to attack these buildings that haven't had sales in them recently, and basically he didn't tell me it was a bad idea. He said, well, anything you come up with that's an idea that makes sense to you, that you want to push forward with, just stay consistent with it and push after it, And if you come up with your own idea, then it always, to me, it seems to be a little bit more motivating, because then you want to prove yourself right. You want to say, well, my idea works, so you're going to work even harder to accomplish that. It's my thoughts anyway.
So I got a couple of questions I'm going to get to, but I wanted to follow up with what John just said about he came to me and asked me if I thought this idea was good about he was going to pick out these buildings that didn't have that many sales in them and go after those buildings. And so his thought was that because there weren't that many sales, that somebody's got to be ready to sell because there hadn't been any turnover. There's got to be somebody itching to sell. And so what I told him was two things. Okay, one is, if you had your choice between a building where there's a lot of turnover and a building where there's not a lot of turnover, of course, I'm going to pick the one with a lot of turnover. I want stuff that's moving and selling, right? But on the other side of that, it's like I told him, whatever idea you can come up with in your head that motivates you to call a building and call owners and talk to them, just do it. Don't worry about if it's right or wrong. If it's something in your head that makes you feel good about doing it and makes you feel confident about calling the owners, then you can make up whatever you want to make up in your head and just do it. So I also want to get into a little bit more about phone calls and your goals and stuff like that. But I got a couple questions. And guys, I don't know if these questions are geared toward for me or for John. So maybe me and John will kind of talk about it. But Jimmy Wilson at Keller Williams asked, I've been researching RedX, which you use. Give me your thought because I'm leaning towards using this. So I think John here has actually used RedX because that's something that I suggested. So I'll let John kind of explain his experience with RedX from a new agent's perspective and how it's helped him, and maybe that'll help you make a decision to move forward with it or not.
With RedX, I think there's ups and downs to it. The best part is I've had about, I would say, 90 to 95% accuracy with phone numbers, and a lot of those phone numbers are cell phone numbers. The one thing is we are in a condo market, so whenever I search a building, a lot of times it gives me a bunch of phone numbers for units that aren't necessarily in that building, something within the area. If you search for 100 phone numbers, then it's going to give you, I'm pretty sure they scrub their list too and don't put anybody on there that's on the do not call list, for the simple fact of not every single owner is listed on there and not every single one of them have a phone number. So I have yet to run across a phone number on there where I've talked to somebody who said, don't ever call me, I'm on the do not call list. And but like I said, 90 to 95% accuracy. Every person just about that I've talked to that is the property owner of that property that I'm looking for, and a lot of times it is their cell phone number, their direct number. So I definitely highly recommend it.
I think the coolest thing about RedX is that the accuracy of the phone numbers that it finds, and it finds them so quick. It has a geo leads. You just put an address in there, and boom, it finds all the phone numbers around that address. Or if it's a complex, it'll find all the owners in the complex of that address. So, and then it's a dialing system that you can just start calling the people right then and there. So I think it's amazing, and I highly recommend it to anybody. And it's real cheap, so why not just do it, give it a try, cancel it if you don't like it.
And also too, if you do purchase it, the service, any numbers that you look up and download, all those numbers are saved. So if you only want to do it for 1 month and look up a whole bunch of complexes, you use up all your credits, all those lists are saved. If your 1 month subscription runs out, your list don't go away. You still have all the contacts there. So
there you go. So it saves all the stuff for you, even if you cancel the subscription or whatever. It's a win-win, man. Give it a try, see what you think, and get back with me and let me know what you think. Post it on the group, whatever your experience was, so maybe it can help other agents. Sharon Powell, she asks about mindset. She says, what are you doing to get your head in the game on a daily basis? Well, guys, that's kind of a loaded question. I would really need to talk to you, Sharon, to kind of figure out what's going on with your mindset, to really be able to reverse engineer exactly what's going on there that's preventing you from having your head in the game on a daily basis, because my head's never not in the game. I don't know when it's never not in the game. And here's the thing. You have to have a passion for what you do. You have to really love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then your head's not going to be in the game. Steve Jobs, he said life is tough. I mean, business is tough. Life is tough. You have to really, really love it for it to work. If you don't really, really love what you're doing, then because everything's hard, nothing is easy. So if you don't love it, then it's not going to work for you. So that's the first thing, is that you have to have a passion for what you do. If you don't have that, then you're not going to be super successful because you're not doing what you like to do. And I just said everything's hard.
Oh, for sure.
So that's the first thing. But secondly, work. I think of work as my therapy. Like, I use work as an escapism. Like, I go to work and I don't let work control me. Like, I'm addicted to the hustle and the grind, but I don't let it completely take me over. At 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock or so, I'm done. And I'm not thinking about work anymore. I may do a few little things here and there, but for the most part, I'm coming home, I'm with my family, I'm watching TV, I'm spending time with them, stuff like that. On the weekends, I really kick it unless I have somebody that wants to see property. So I take time for myself. When you take time for yourself and recharge your batteries every day, you're like excited and ready to go back to work. If you work all day long and you worry about work all night, then you start to burn yourself out. So I think recharging, not thinking about work after work, leaving work at work and have home at home, and separating your home life and your work life has really been big for me. I don't know about other. I know there's agents that make it happen where they work out of their house. I don't understand that, but there again, I don't understand how people do teams either. So everybody's different. Everybody does it their own little way. So you have to be passionate, and work has to be, a therapy type thing for you, where if something's bad going on in your life, I'll go to work, and work gets whatever's bad going on off my mind. So that's how I've treated work, and that's how I've continued to push harder, and that, I have a lot of passion for it and all that stuff. What about you?
I completely agree. Like I said earlier, this is the first time I've ever had a job that I absolutely love to do. So, and and the more you work, the more things you have going on. And with this business, work is exciting. Work isn't work. I mean, one of the best things I've ever seen was the expression that says, if I treat real estate like a real job, I'll never have to work another day in my life. And it's because, to go to the office and know that you have deals pending and you have things coming, and you have the opportunity to do it all over again the next day, that it's easy to go to work for me right now. I enjoy it. So,
Sharon, it sounds like you have something going on in your life that's distracting you, and I would suggest that you take that out of your life and you start focusing on real estate and you commit. I don't feel like you're committed, so you can't help yourself and you can't help those around you if you're not fully committed and love what you do. So please just reach out to me, Sharon, if you have specific questions, because I'd be glad to talk to you, and help you through whatever you're going through with that. That'd be fine. JD says, I have the book and it's great. JD is one of the first guys I ever talked to when I started coaching maybe 5 months ago. Super awesome guy. So thanks for tuning in, JD. Let's see. I got Zeno, who is a guy in my office, who's asking me what RedX is. Zeno, RedX, just Google RedX. It's a system that will find phone numbers for you and will dial the numbers for you and plug them straight to your phone and just dial them one after another really fast. It's really cool. Just get with me at the office if you're interested in that, and I'll help you out with that. Stephanie Smith, Anthony, who actually, Stephanie, I just found out you're really close. You're in Fairhope or Daphne, so I didn't realize that. I just looked at your profile a couple days ago and realized you were really close. So anyway, she says, tell me about your coaching training program. It's real simple. You can go to zerotodiamond.com if you're interested in looking at the different coaching programs I do. You can do a hands-on or hands-off kind of thing. We can do one-on-one coaching. I have an online course. I have private videos, all my phone scripts. It's all laid out for you to just eat up and go be successful. I've been doing this maybe 4 or 5 months, and I'm really seeing a lot of agents, their whole mindset has changed. Their whole business model has changed. I'm focusing away from high pressure sales tactics, that all the other training seems to have with for sale by owners and expires and buyer leads and Zillow and Facebook leads and stuff like that. My system is focused around creating lifelong relationships with property owners that own property in the niche market you want to sell in. And it's as simple as that. It's very low pressure. It's just easy going. We're here to help you if you need something. If not, that's okay too. It doesn't matter because we're going to call 100 more people, and we're going to find some people that want to work with us now or in the future. And over time, you're going to build a huge database, and in 5 or 10 years, you're going to dominate your market. The thing about real estate is it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, you want your little baby to be a teenager tomorrow, but it doesn't happen. You have to sit there every day, and he's still a baby, still a baby. Now he's a little older, now he's a little older. It's the same thing with real estate. It just doesn't happen overnight. You have to put the work in. I talk to a ton of agents, guys, and they say I need to get focused. I'm selling a couple, but I'm not where I want to be. And I'm like, are you calling property owners asking for business? And they say no. And I'm thinking, what are you doing all day? Because there's absolutely nothing else that's what is more important than asking people for business? You need clients. So that brings me back to John. Like, give me a couple things, like actions, like you do this, and this. This is what got you where you are. What are the actions that got you to close on about $2 million in your first 6 months, and what's going to make you 6-figure in your first year in real estate?
Phone calls, cold calls have got me the listings that I have now. Being able to study the market and really know, so when you do get those listings, making sure they're priced right. I know sometimes a lot of that is left up to your client, but I feel the more prepared you are to tell them what the price should be, the more likely they are to follow your lead. And I have also done a lot of handwritten postcards, picked buildings, and I have sent handwritten letters. Just to inform them that I would be happy to tell them about the current market. I put my card in there. I have got phone calls back from that. The email addresses that I do get, I put them into constant contact, and I send a weekly email out. I basically have just taken Ricky's business model and I followed it to a T, and it's produced results very fast, a lot faster than I thought it was. One of my current listings is I made a cold call in January. It was one of the very first people I ever called. I got her email address. I've been sending her an email just out of the blue. She emailed me back, said, hey, let's list my unit. And, and this client in particular has 4 more condos that she wants to consolidate down and buy something. So that one phone call has led to me listing her condo, which will lead to potential other deals and her want to upgrade. So that's, like I said, that's it. It's there's nothing crazy, just phone calls and mail outs, and don't be afraid to call people back. If you talk to them one time and they're receptive and they give you your email address, 3 months later, why not call them again and see how things are going? Just check in on them. Don't say, well, I called them one time, got their email address, now I'm going to send them an email forever. Let them hear your voice. Talk to them again, invite them out to lunch, see what you can do to get face to face with them.
Exactly, man. And I really preach the go to lunch thing, phone call thing. So really, like, to break it down for you guys, how John has got where he is, he's just focused on a couple things, right? He hasn't focused on like 10 different things or went 15 different directions. He cold calls, right? He sends mail outs, right? And he's likable. He's talking to people for long-term business. He's trying to set up relationships. Okay, one big problem that I see when I talk to agents is that I start talking to them about their business, and they say, I've made this many phone calls, but I only got this many appointments, and some of those appointments canceled on me, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. When the problem is I let them go through their whole spiel, let them say all the stuff, and then I say, okay, well, look, the first problem is you're going for an appointment, right? And I know that sounds a little crazy, but here's the thing. When you're going for an appointment, that's your main goal, and it's not you guys' fault. That's what you've been taught by all this high pressure sales coaching and training and all that stuff. You think that the most important thing, your goal is to make an appointment and go meet the person face to face, but that's not with them. Click with them personality wise. See if they already have a relationship with another agent in the area, and if not, let's stay in touch, right? For the future, via email. The email is the goal, not the appointment, right? So if you play the low pressure approach and you let them know that you're here for them, right? You're not in it for you. You don't want the appointment. You don't want the deal. You don't want any of that stuff. You want to see what their needs are. You want to see what they, what their goals are, and you want to help them get there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm working with some people right now. They told me if I wouldn't answer the phone, they would have called the guy they've been getting postcards for the past 6 years, Ricky. They were like, yeah, if it wouldn't have been for you cold calling us and talking to us directly and following up with an email, then we've been getting postcards from another realtor. So again, earlier, like I said, don't be afraid. Ricky probably works every single building at the beach. And so if I was afraid of the competition, you have to go after it. People are going to be receptive to other people differently. So
that brings me to another really awesome point I want to bring across. And that is that John, what he's saying to you, I don't know if you guys caught that or not. He cold called a building that I send postcards to, and the people decided to work with him, and they actually said, hey, I'm glad, or they didn't say glad, they just said, if you wouldn't have cold called me, then I was going to call Ricky, the guy that sends me postcards, which is very interesting because here's the thing. Me and John are friends. John goes out and cold calls my potential clients, right? So let's say he gets one of them, which he did. Did I get upset about that? Absolutely not. I was happy for John that he did that. Go get him, Tiger, right? Because here's what opens up for me. Whenever I lost that potential client, it did a couple things. Number one, I gained experience. Okay. Now I can think, what did I do wrong? Should I have cold called them? What could I have done to secure the deal? I didn't do my job, right? I wasn't the one that called them and followed up the way I should have, so I didn't deserve the deal. John called and put in the work and clicked with them personality-wise, and they liked John enough to do a deal with them. So I have to think, what did I do wrong? So I gained experience. I also gained knowledge from that. Okay. But thirdly, and the most importantly, I gained more future time because these people are going to come down, meet with John, do paperwork, look at properties, go all over the world, have lunch, all this stuff, right? I don't have to do it now. Yeah. John's going to do it. He's going to take them. He's going to do all that. I can take all the time that I would have spent on that deal and go get 5 more deals with all that new knowledge and experience that I gained from losing that deal. Okay, real estate is a mindset. You have to be in the right mindset that there's unlimited business and that losing deals is the name of the game. It's actually a good thing because you get future time, you get experience and knowledge from it. So let's see if we got any questions, man. JD says, great point, Ricky. You might have said it on a video that some of us worry about building the business so that we feel overwhelmed. An odd feeling because many of us don't have enough business to be concerned about overwhelm. What's both of your feelings on that? JD, this is an awesome point. So here's how I feel about it. You guys need to, he says that's an odd feeling because many of us don't have enough business to be concerned with feeling overwhelmed. My whole point to that, JD, was that go get the business to feel overwhelmed. Like, do you make phone calls every day? Do you call 100 people every single day? And if you don't, please email me and tell me what it is that you do all day. Because if you're not doing that and you're wondering why you don't have enough business to feel overwhelmed, then something's not adding up. You have to go get the business. You have to talk to people, ask for business, get business going, get some momentum going in your career before you have business. So what I'm saying is over the next 2 weeks, you need to get Red X or Mojo or whatever dialing system you want and plug 2,000 people in there, 2,000 over the next 2 weeks, and go through every single one of them Just sit in your office 8 hours a day, cold calling people with a dialer until you get all 2,000 done. Take good notes on everybody you talk to. Use my phone scripts. Go for future business. You're going to run into short-term business. You're going to have a crazy tsunami of business off of that. And you're going to have so much business, you're going to feel overwhelmed temporarily. Okay? You want that because until you feel that overwhelmness, you don't know where your breaking point is. You don't know what your full potential is. You're not being overwhelmed with business because you're scared to make 2,000 calls because you're scared that maybe somehow all 2,000 people want to buy something and you won't be able to service them all at the same time. It's not the case. You make 2,000 calls, you're probably going to get 10 deals. You want 10 deals right now? Go make 2,000 calls and learn how to make with the phone calls. You're developing your skills of making calls. You're getting deals. You're learning. You're making appointments. You're creating relationships. There's like 15 great things that come out of making all these calls. It's just crazy. Everybody wants to look at it as though it's just a deal. You're just trying to get a deal, but that's not it. Look at the knowledge and experience. Your phone etiquette, how well you start to learn how to talk to people on the phone, how to read people on the phone, and how to, up your tone of your voice to match what's going to make them feel more comfortable and stuff of that nature. It's all very detailed skills that you got to learn, and the only way to learn it is to do. So what I'm saying is make 2,000 calls over the next 2 weeks. Overwhelm yourself with business.
Work. Overwhelm yourself with work, and then you'll be overwhelmed with business.
Right. And then once you figure out that you're overwhelmed, you can't handle it all, that's a good problem to have. I have that problem here and there because I overwhelm myself with business. So what happens is as I step back for a second, I say, would I rather have the problem of being overwhelmed and not being able to get to every little thing, or do I want the problem of being broke and not being able to pay my bills and just sitting around with nothing to do? So you have problems either way. It's up to you to decide which problems you want. To me, I'd rather be overwhelmed and have more business than I can handle.
The one thing, too, it's a little bit off topic, but we're talking about the phone calls. It is a little overwhelming making phone calls sometimes. I know people are nervous making cold calls. My best suggestion for that is to get with somebody else in your office that wants to get on board with the same program you're on. There's enough business out there for everybody. So you get with somebody in your office, and you guys get 2 or 3 people, 4 people, and you guys do cold calls together. Then you can critique each other. You see how other people are doing. You see who gets more responses, who people are more receptive to, and you guys can make changes on your own like that. I think I've done cold call sessions with Ricky, and I always feel like I get better whenever you're doing it with somebody else, and it takes a little bit of the pressure off. And this is a competitive business. I love competition, and I always feel like there's some little edge when you're competing against somebody else in the room, because it might not be an open, we're going to compete, but in my head, we're competing. I want to get more email addresses than he does. So to me, I think that's a good way to break into the cold calling. If you can find other people to do it with, you guys find a classroom or a conference room at your office and take turns calling a building and see what happens. To me, that was a big help for me.
A lot of really high producers, a lot of real successful people, they make everything a contest. Everything's a competition. They want to beat everybody around them. And then once they beat everyone around them with whatever's going on, then they just try to beat themselves. Now they're in competition with themselves. So, you have to pay attention to what people are doing around you that are succeeding at a high level. Watch what they're doing, duplicate it, beat them at their own game, and then start beating yourself every year. Every year I want to do better and better than I did the last year. Every single year I have a record-breaking year. When the market crashed, of course, I lost everything, all that stuff. But ever since I came back in real estate in 2008, I've had a record year. Every year has been a little higher. Well, a lot higher. I had one year that was just a little higher, but at least it was higher, right? But it's basically the same. But that's okay. Let's see if there's something else I want to get into, man. There was this quote that I put on Facebook. I thought that was really cool. That's something that's one of my quotes and something I really think about a lot is how speedy I am with every little thing that I do until I'm on the phone with that prospect or until I'm in front of with a listing appointment or showing property. I completely shut down speed and I switch over to quality, and it's all about the client. And I slow down everything, and I focus 100% on the client, and I make them feel like they're my number one client in the world. So is that something you do?
Oh, for sure. I definitely try to get as many things done in the day as I can, and like Ricky said. And another good point on that is I actually ran into his broker out in town the other day, and he was giving me a little life lesson on real estate. And he said one of the most important things to do is to make sure you don't lose contact with people that you do transactions with, your clients, to keep in contact with them at least to future deals. Point in case, I just listed 2 condos at the beach. I'm a brand new realtor. Both of those people have only owned those condos for 3 years or less. So that means 3 years ago they did a transaction with a realtor that did not keep in contact with them. If they would have kept in contact with them, those realtors would have those properties listed again, I believe. I don't think if they would have bought something from somebody and those people would have kept in contact with them throughout the years, how hard is it to send an email or make a phone call every quarter or something? And so now they're my clients now. And it very easily could have still been with the same people.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And guys, this business, clients are going to switch real estate agents. It happens all the time. You're going to have the people that are really, really loyal to you. They'll never use another agent. And then you're going to have the clients that may use you, may not. You're going to have a group of clients that are super loyal, a group of clients that are kind of loyal, a group of clients that are not really loyal at all, and then a group that you don't even know if they're just in your database, and you hope that one day they might use you, and if they do, great. If they don't, that's okay too, because you're going to keep your cup full of potential. That's what I'm talking about, reaching that overwhelming point in with how much business can you handle at one time. That's what you need to ask yourself, because everybody can handle a different amount of business at once, and that's really a determining factor of like being really successful or not. Is how much can you handle, and how much of the right kind of business can you handle at one time. I can handle a whole lot, but I do have a breaking point, and I stay right there where I'm almost completely overwhelmed. Like this week, I literally had to slow down for a second and let the stuff that I needed to do, the list, kind of get smaller and smaller, almost to nothing for just a second, so that I could really take a deep breath and get back to the basics, because I need to get back onto the basic stuff like making phone calls. I've been too busy closing transactions, showing property, getting listings and stuff. I really want to get back to calling my past clients, checking on them, and doing some cold calling and stuff. So,
well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but even though we're at both different stages of our career, it's basically we're doing the same thing. But myself, I'm looking for new clients. I'm trying to find contact and develop relationships with as many people as I can. And Ricky's at a stage in his career where he's trying to keep up with these relationships. I mean, most of his business, or I would say a lot of his business, probably comes from referrals and repeat clients. But it's the same thing. It's phone calls and mail outs, and he's keeping in contact with these people as I'm trying to, develop relationships. Once you develop the relationship, the best thing to do is not to let it go. You have to maintain it.
Jason here, Jason Wyndham over at Exit. I think he's in Biloxi. He says, "Awesome work, John." So he's picking up what you're putting down. Chip says, "I also celebrate others and show appreciation as part of my marketing, and has made all the difference." Absolutely, my brother. Shout out to Chip. Neil McCain asks, "Do you fellas ever contact developers?" Not really. I've got a development listed, and I've got another one I'm working on, and that's a whole other world, the developer world. It's a lot of work and energy, and it's kind of like commercial property. If you're gonna do commercial, that's a whole other world. It's all the same though. It's relationships. It's what can I do for you, and it's let me know whenever I can help you when you decide it's time to do something. So don't contact developers. but maybe I should add that to my repertoire. But to tell you the truth, I love my little niche. You know, Gulf front condos, Gulf front houses, waterfront properties, single family homes, stuff like that. I do sell some commercial property as well, but not a whole lot. I sold a couple apartment complexes. I've got a negotiation going on the metal building on Canal Road right now, trying to get it all worked out. JD says, thank you, Ricky and John. Which problem do you want? Busy, broker busy. Wow, what a point. Yeah, man. It's called commitment, and you just got to go all in. You can't hold back. It's just got to be full commitment, and don't worry about what's going to happen to your customer service. You have too many clients. Worry about that later whenever you have too many clients, right? It's like agents that want to figure out how to completely fill out a contract before they even have a client. You know, if you don't have a client to fill the contract out, what's the purpose? So why are you worried about how your customer service is going to be if you don't have any customers? You know, reverse engineer the problem. Go get the customers and then figure out how you're going to service them, right? I mean, without that, then we're not going to be anywhere if we're just worried about that. And I don't know if that's your problem, JD, and I'm not trying to say it is. I'm not talking specifically to you. I'm just saying that that you should absolutely overwhelm yourself with business. You know, what are we waiting on? You know, every agent should overwhelm themselves with business and then figure out where they stand with what their potential is. And then slide back, get to where you're a comfortable pace of business and continue. You know, if you make 2,000 calls and you figure out that was just you got way too much business off those 2,000 calls, slide back to 1,000 over 2 weeks. See how that does over the next 2 weeks, right? If that's not enough, go up to 1,500. You know, adjust how many people you're calling according to what your overwhelming breaking point is. Okay. Jason asked, what contact management system are you using? Top Producer? Are you using a CRM?
I use Constant Contact, and that's it. No, I don't have a CRM.
Most of my clients are in my phone. Like I have their phone numbers in my phone, and then all of them are in Constant Contacts, and then all of them we email back and forth or whatever. They're in my Yahoo or they're in my Outlook or something like that.
Yeah, there's several tools that are out there, especially like depending on the particular company you work with. I know with Exit, we have a very good system set up. Me personally, I haven't got fully involved in using all those tools available. I found that keeping the information on my phone and Constant Contact has worked for me thus far, so I'll keep it going that way.
We're going back to like the chicken or the egg, you know, like you got a great CRM, but you don't have any customers to put in there, right? So, you know, go get the customers and then figure out how you're going to manage them. That's not really my forte. My forte is how to get customers, right? I think that that getting leads and being able to produce your own leads and the right kind of leads is the most important part of this puzzle. Letitia Smith, she says, what's a great schedule to keep on a daily? Well, to be honest with you, I get up every morning and go to the gym at 7 o'clock, personal trainer. I think that is a huge part of getting my mind right for the rest of the day. I feel good, so on and so forth. I don't know, working out in the morning is huge for me. So I think that, I would highly suggest that for everyone else. If you're not living healthy, you make all this money, then what are you going to do? You spend all your money to try to get healthy. So, you have to live a balanced life. You got to have health, wealth, love, and happiness. So I start out at the gym. Okay, then I come home, take a shower, all that stuff, get to the office 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Then I go through, I make my list of everything I need to do that day, and I really study my business for a good 10, 20 minutes. Then I have a short meeting with my assistant, make sure she knows everything I need her to do to be most productive. Then I start just hammering my list. It could be making cold calls. It could be listing appointment showings and following up with people, making postcards. I don't know what I'll be doing. It's a huge list, and I just start tackling it and just going crazy like a Tasmanian devil. I get more done before lunch than most agents do all month. And that's just, I'm really passionate about it, and I want to get stuff done. So from there, that's how I really do the rest of the day. I'm just tackling all the items on my list, and I make sure that I'm keeping in mind all the long-term actions and activities. Like you don't want to fill your day up with just checking on under contract stuff and stuff like that. You want to have long-term activities in there, like making postcards and doing your weekly email and prospecting and doing handwritten letters and stuff that's going to elongate relationships for the future and stuff of that nature. So don't get caught up in the everyday stuff. Make sure you're mixing in some stuff that's going to build your business for the future too. When you start building your business for the now and the future, that's where the two worlds combine, and later on you're going to be the super agent. So it's actually a hard question to answer because and I'm going to ask John, what's a great schedule? What's his daily schedule as a new agent?
Well, as I will tell you that in the beginning, it became a little bit more scheduled, but I was kind of scatterbrained in the beginning, trying to do too many things or jump from this idea to that idea. But as what I've realized is I do need to try to get in the office by 9 o'clock every morning, and then the very first thing I do whenever I come into the office is I check my emails in the hot sheet. The hot sheet to me is super. Every day, first thing I do, look at the hot sheet and see if there's anything that's popped up that I might have any for my potential buyers out there. I usually send a couple listings to people if it's anywhere within the parameters of what they're looking for. And now that I've set my sights on these particular buildings that we were talking about earlier, so for at least an hour to 2 hours a day, I'm doing handwritten postcards to different buildings, and it's not because it's about the same price to do these handwritten postcards, but I think since it's my very first contact with these people and me being a new agent, I think it just puts a little bit of extra touch on it. It does a little bit more time consuming, but that's what I'm not super busy like Ricky showing property and stuff every day, so I do have a little bit more time to put the extra touch on it. And then and from there I view properties, and I have found that I had more success with cold calls in the afternoon, maybe once people got off work. So I try to take from 3 to 5 o'clock, maybe 6 o'clock in the evening to make my phone calls. And that pretty much is my day.
Cool. Got a couple more comments here. For one, Letitia Smith, one that asked about the daily schedule thing. She says, I just changed my workout schedule from night to mornings. I guess because of what I said. Thank you, Ricky Caruth. That's awesome, because here's what happens. Like the chemicals in your brain, when you wake up and everything and you work out, it just ignites everything in your body. You burn more calories through the day, and you get more done. You can look up, you can Google about working out in the mornings and what it does for you, but it gets your brain, really going. Pettigay Lewis says, I've noticed after workout I tend to be more focused and stay committed to my prospecting versus the day that I skip the workout. So there you have it. That's like a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Get up in the morning and work out. Get your day started on the right foot, and eat a good breakfast. Okay, something very healthy, and really feel good about yourself. Moving forward through the morning. Really tackle everything head on. I'll tell you this. Do the most scariest activity you got, the worst thing you got, the thing that you fear the most. Do that very first. Go through your list and make your list of everything you want to accomplish today. Pick out the scariest item and do that one first. What's his name? There was a famous guy. Anyway, he wrote a book called Eat the Frog, and that's what he's talking about. he's talking about taking the scariest thing on your schedule and doing that first. So I would highly suggest that. Knock that out first. That's the scariest item. And then it's all downhill from there. Then you just feel good because you got that out of the way. It wasn't as bad as you thought. Now you can just plow through the rest of your items and really, really be productive. So that's exciting stuff. Oh, Letitia said, thank you, John. Great information, guys. Absolutely. So I guess we're gonna call it a day here. I'm gonna give a. I think we're gonna go here. Let me pick somebody. You're gonna get a free signed copy of my book, Zero to Diamond: How to Become a Real Estate Agent, and you're gonna get a first month free on ZeroToDiamond.com, where all my phone scripts and all of the private videos. I have a private video about how to do the weekly report on Constant Contacts. I have a private video about how to use the phone scripts. I have a private video about how to prepare to make phone calls. I have a private video about how I built my business. So I'm doing a new private video every week for the website, and some really good stuff. This week, I'm actually going to do RedX. I'm going to go through the process of how to get on RedX, find the phone numbers, and start calling the people. So that's going to be exciting. I'm going to go with Stephanie Smith Anthony. She's going to be our lucky winner today for the free book and the 1 month free on ZeroToDiamond.com. Also, guys, I'm working on what I'm going to call a 30-day jumpstart program that's going to start around July 1st. It's going to be a week, a coaching call once a week for a month for anybody that signs up for the online course on ZeroToDiamond.com. Anybody that signs up for the online course on ZeroToDiamond.com between now and July 1st will be automatically enrolled to the 30-day jumpstart program. And it's going to be a weekly coaching call, and I'm going to literally set the foundation for you guys to have a long-term successful business, long-term and short-term. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be really amazing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before we go here. If you want to be on my emailing list, you want to get the emails that go to my clients that I do every week so you can see what I'm sending my clients, feel free to text list to last to 22828, and that'll put you on that list. You'll start getting an email from me every Wednesday, the same email I send my clients, and so you can kind of get ideas from that, and maybe that'll help you with your weekly email. The weekly email is the single most important part of my business that has helped me. It's the glue that holds my whole career together and keeps me in contact with my clients. I have too many clients to contact them one by one. The email every week keeps them engaged with me and lets them know that I'm here for them when they get ready to buy or sell something. So it's been really big for me. And if you want to start receiving that email, text list to last to 22828. And also there's a private video that goes through step by step how to do that weekly email. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Let me see if there's any questions right before we leave. Neil says, yeah, dude, I ordered your book and I'll get you to sign it when I get around the coast. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Pettigay Lewis asks, what's that number again? Text list to last to 22828. List to last. 22828. So congratulations to Stephanie. Stephanie, just send me a private message after the show. And you got anything else?
No, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. This has been an awesome show. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank y'all so much.